Hello, and thanks for joining me on this video where we talk about packaging and how it can be a differentiator for your branded merch. My name is Stacy Garrett. I am VP of Marketing for Ideation Creative Brands Management. And today I brought some industry experts to talk more about packaging and how it can elevate your branded merch game. We have Tiffany from SharperBags, an expert in all things tissue, wrapping paper, you name it, she's got the knowledge. And then Peg comes to us from Chameleon. She is quite the expert in most things boxes and how to really make your branded merch stand out. Thank you guys for joining me on this video. I know it's a topic that we're all pretty passionate about, right?
Yeah,
Packaging and how it elevates even the most basic of branded merch, right?
that is correct.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Way back, I've been doing this for 26 years, probably 20 years ago, maybe 25 years ago, someone talked to me about back when velour sleeves were just coming out in pens, where you could give a pen or you can give a pen in a velour sleeve, and what that did to the difference in pens. I have an example of that here. I got a bunch of samples of pens from a factory. Like, it's fine. I got pens. They're samples. They're sitting there. But then I got some pens from Pentel, and look at the packaging. What a difference. These are about the same dollar amount of pens, but doesn't this feel nicer? It's still branded. It just feels like this was a gift. And that's what we're going to talk about, is how to take and elevate from this to this and kind of everything in between, because we know that packaging makes a huge difference. I have an example. If any of you have ever followed me, I love my Starbucks cups. I buy them at retail. It's crazy. So here's a cup, cute little mermaid, beautiful cup with a little gold top. But here's another cup that came in this gorgeous box. What a difference for the same price cup. Cost me the same, but this one feels more like a gift than this one. I mean, that's the power of packaging, right? It takes the ordinary and makes it a little more extraordinary. So, you guys agree with me, I assume? Like, lots of packaging options, and I showed two that were slightly extreme, but even this, like, I bought these earrings at a gift shop and they knew it was a gift, so they put it in an organza bag. I mean, we can do things as simple as this, and this just changed these earrings to a gift and something that people are going to say thank you for, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes it's the simplest thing. Do you guys have any specific examples where you've seen like something that's really elevated, gone from ordinary to extraordinary?
So with Chameleon, we are a journal company. We also produce packaging and accessories. So our packaging, we do many influencer kits, which can go anywhere from a extreme filling a box with all sorts of promotional products that get drop shipped out to influencers who then go to YouTube and unveil them. So it's a vehicle to get everybody excited about a launch for a new soda or Taylor Swift for her tour, things like that. But we also scale all the way back, and we can do a very simple shipper box, which I'm going to show you, that you can take a very simple journal in our case, because that's one of the things we produce. And instead of just sending it in a brown box, this is the box that we just produced. We have over 100 different size shipper boxes that exist. So what we do is we just said, let's send these to the people who are at an event. So we have our return label up here printed, and then we do customization to the people that attended and said, yes, they want this. And then inside, we have just regular tissue. However, we can do custom tissue. And then inside, you unveil what we really wanted everyone to get, which was just a simple keyboard journal that goes in your desk, matching all the colors. And this was just a thank you note from us. So again, like your pen, Stacy, you could have just sent the journal in a box or in an envelope, but instead you get this and the unveiling, and you will always remember where you got that journal.
At SharperBags, we really focus on paper and plastic, a variety of packaging, and what we call those finishing touches. So I would say probably something that's very unique and special that SharperBags offers in the plastic world is our poly mailers. It's a top selling line. It is used in a variety of different vertical markets, a variety of different ways, but it's a very cost effective option. But it also allows for very vibrant imprinting. We try to give you as much space as possible. And we've made some really exciting changes where we can now do 2 adhesive strips with perforation, really popular within that e-commerce space, especially during this time of year where there's so much online buying. This is a really great solution. But something that's really special that we do that kind of goes above and beyond to add that finishing touch is variable printing, meaning we can variable print a poly mailer. Every poly mailer can have a different image, different text. We could add a mailing list right to it. So it really gives you the capability to personalize it, put their name on it, thank you, or thank the customer right from the outside of the packaging, which just makes the receiving of that package that much more memorable.
I love that. And I actually think polymailers are a perfect example of how you may not have this insane budget for a custom box that's really elaborate, but you want something that gets some excitement when
Yes.
they receive it. We actually use that exact mailer for socks,
Okay.
mailing socks for a birthday program. I mean, it's perfect
Yep.
because it doesn't give any structure, but it gets some excitement when they get the package like, wait a minute, what is this? Is something fun inside of this? And they are able to open it up and get socks and a fun birthday card and all of that. So I love those because I think a lot of times people think packaging has to be expensive,
Right.
and it doesn't. And like Peg, to your point, one of the things I love about that package is it is a pretty basic box, right? So it's a little more affordable, but I also love the thoughtfulness with the tissue paper. And a lot of people would just put the journal in the box.
Hmm.
But that's not the same. That unfolding, it's like the high-end shirt from Saks or whatever, like, it's this whole presentation, and that tissue doesn't add a lot of money. It just adds the thoughtfulness, and we would always put a note on the top of that, so they get this note. We've done some where we close the tissue with a sticker, so
Hmm.
then the tissue's folded and it's then even more of a like, oh my gosh, what's in here that's so exciting? So those are ways that you can elevate the packaging with pretty low dollar. You can even do just an unimprinted box by adding tissue, adding a sticker, putting a note in there. You change that journal, socks, t-shirt, I don't care what it is, to something that is next level. And Tiffany, if you can talk a little bit about custom tissue paper,
Sure.
maybe you have to do a basic box. And sometimes that's about time. You
Right.
know, let's be real, designing a box takes a little bit of time, getting a box printed takes a little bit of time. Sometimes you just don't have that, or you don't have the bandwidth to get creative around it. Of course, we have a whole design team, so we are doing a lot of design and working with our factory partners to help with design. But sometimes tissue is just the right solution. So you could do a custom tissue paper that
Yes.
then packs in there and you get a little more, oh wow, this just wasn't grabbed off of a shelf and
A little
thrown
bit
in a
more
box.
effort. A little
Yes.
bit more effort at a very minimal price can really completely elevate the experience of the customer on the receiving end and really just take it from a basic gift to like a wow gift. So our tissue paper we launched last year. It's a fully custom tissue paper. Let me see if you can see. We give you a significant imprint space, and the really great thing is this pairs well with, like you said, a box. It pairs well with poly mailers or even bags, which really can elevate a table gift or an event type gift. We have a variety of packages. And we've found that because it pairs so well, not only with like your boxes and your mailing, but also for those gifts, we have a variety of different purchasing options where you can bundle it with the bag and have a completely branded bag and tissue paper. So the items that are going in it can be all the same, but that display of it makes it beautiful.
Yeah, think about you're at an event and you see a
Hmm.
table of white C handle mugs sitting on a table. It's like, want, want. But you see a lineup of bags with custom tissue, and you're
Yep.
like, oh, what's in there?
Yep.
Ooh, this. So it has a little anticipation too.
Right.
And again, that could be a $2 item in that
Hmm.
package, and you just made it feel like a gift.
Right.
I love that. That's a
And
that's a great example.
And the great thing is too is because we offer it at low quantities, it really gives your customers the capability to customize it based on the event. They're not having to buy mass amounts of one brand or design. They can really have the flexibility depending on the type of the year or the type of gift that's going into it. They can really customize the quantity and not have to just really inventory that tissue paper.
I love that. Although I would say, for any of our clients watching this, let's inventory it in our warehouse so that when you do have something that needs to go
Yep.
out, we have it on hand. But to your point, we're getting ready to go into the holidays,
Yep.
right? What if you made it specific of the holidays with your brand colors and messaging? Like,
Yes.
you don't have to worry about having thousands and thousands of those, which I remember having to order something like 4,800 sheets of tissue paper. Doing custom tissue paper 20 years ago was just not cost effective.
Right.
And so why not jump on that now? Because most people haven't seen it a lot because it was so cost prohibitive, right?
Yeah, and because they were the large volumes, they were a lot of times was not a USA made product. So it wasn't something that could be super last minute or a tight turnaround time. But now we're able to give it to you at a really quick turnaround time. So even if it is that last minute thing that just really takes your gift to the next level, it's feasible and there's a lot of cost efficiency to it.
I love the more affordable, craft paper type gift
Mm-hmm.
bags, but I also love using some kind of reusable
Mm-hmm.
tote as the gift bag. And sometimes that can feel like, wait, this isn't really that as much of a gift. It still is a gift, but what takes it over the edge to make it feel like it's a gift is adding that tissue paper. So maybe the tote could be a reusable tote. Add some tissue paper, and now it's like, oh, it's a gift, but then they're going to use
Yeah.
it. I'm also a big proponent of hang tags, like put a little hang tag on the outside of a bag that has a message from leadership or whatever. Maybe it's a quote, maybe it says happy holidays, what have you. That also helps elevate whatever the package is to help it feel more gifty and the thought behind it. I love these. I mean, I'm such a big fan of all of those little details. But without a question, the number one thing that we do at Ideation is boxes. I mean, we do so many boxes. I think a big part of that came in COVID times
Yeah.
when people weren't working from an office. I mean, I've always done a lot of boxes and packaging, but when COVID came, boxes became because we needed to be able to ship all these items to people. And when you're having to ship it, you want to have a little more control about what it's going to look like when it's received. And a box is a way to do that. And so, Peg, we've done a lot of boxes with you. There's a lot of different types of boxes. There's ones that are meant specifically for shipping. They can still be gorgeous. We can full color imprint them. We can do nice little spot colors. But a shipping box, kind of like what you showed for that journal, that still can have the wow, this is a gift, this is nice. You're setting the stage versus just a craft box. And there's multiple types of those boxes, right? There's
Yes.
um like the display box,
Yeah.
which is common. Oh, the journal one was a display box where
No,
the
it was a shipper box. Ship that out. We recommend you put it in some sort of a sleeve, a plastic sleeve. We actually carry a compostable sleeve, which is made of recycled coffee beans, but there's all sorts of different ones, and you can get a free one from your carrier, UPS, FedEx, or DHL. But I wanted to show you the showcase box that you were mentioning. We have 4 different types. We have a fold over, we have a flap over, a slider, which we have done a lot for Comcast, as well as a 2-piece. This is one of our 2-piece boxes. And what's great about this inside sort of hits on every single option that you were just chatting about, Tiffany and Stacy. So if you open this up, and this was a mailer we sent out when we were officially honored to be a B Corp certified company. And so in here we have crinkle, we have tissue, we have a card that tells everything about with a QR code of everything that's in the package. We have a sticker that I open so easily in the tissue. So we do custom tissue as well. We do 2 sizes. So there's a lot of variation. We can also, like you were saying, Tiffany, have it ready, print more. We can poly bag in sets of 20 or 25, just easier for warehouse use. And then all of our journals or what we do come into these cute little bags. And the reason we do that, we don't poly bag because of B Corp. So it protects the journal. But this is a little bit of everything. So you've got your crinkle, you've got your showcase box, but with a simple tray. And then you have some kind of cute, this is our notepad. So it's just a variation of all the things that we can do. And then with descriptions, so people can call and say, hey, can I get 50 of those or 100 of those? Our packaging, luckily, is a 50 in our boxes, 50 quantity.
That is impressive. Like that box would have to go inside of a
Shipper box.
traditional paper shipper box.
Yes, that would
So
have.
then they open that, and typically for most of our projects, we do not actually customize that outer box. We put the focus on what's inside of it. So that gets opened, and then you're presented with that beautiful box. Idea being, hopefully, because it's such a nice box, they keep it and they use it for other things, storing stuff, whatever, because it feels so nice.
And yes, and it's beautiful. They are made out of a more rigid material that's not a B flute, which is a shipper box, which gets into the technical side of things. It's just that the ink really, really adheres to it and it's beautiful.
And you have so many textures, some that feel almost suede-like, some that feel like pebble leather, but they're not. They're they're a box.
Yep.
All different kinds of colors. Like I was looking a couple days ago, and you have this gorgeous orange slider that I was like, oh, when am I going to do an ideation orange box, sliding box? I love it. I do love that you have the shreds in there. You call it crinkle. Yeah, I call it shreds. I love that, like, that fit perfectly with that box. And one thing we do, like, we don't even really think about it. We just do it automatically, is we figure out what shreds are going to make the items in the package pop. And like yours, that cream color, it's not as common. You could have done white, but that wouldn't have looked as good with all that natural looking items in there. And that cream made the green notebook really pop. It might seem so simple, but we're always trying to think of what can we do to make the items in the package stand out. Crinkle shreds is oftentimes used pretty much for protection. It also makes things pretty, but a lot of times it's so that when someone receives it, the item is in the same place it was supposed to be, and it hasn't been rubbing up against other things, kind of to your point about the journals being in the little pouch. Like that is what we think about with packaging. If we're going to mail it, like, we actually do a shake test where our warehouse is shaking, throwing it, like making sure that when it gets handled by UPS, FedEx, USPS, when the recipient opens it, it's going to look the way that sticker's not going to have ripped. The tissue isn't all mangled. The notebook isn't moved all over, because that's what we're trying to do here, right? The packaging is there to also make sure that the recipient gets the same experience as the client wanted them to receive. I love, like, those nice decorative boxes. They're so beautiful. And those, we do a lot of those where we mail them, like a lot of them. And we also do them as just the gift to present, like, during the holidays. It might be something where you're having an event and you want to give a gift that maybe you don't want it in a shopper bag, you want it in a box because you have 1,000 of them that you're handing out and it's easier to stack them. So we might do that. We actually will even take those and put a logoed ribbon to tie it at the top. And generally we tie ribbon, I have some ribbon here. We tie it just in a knot like this and lay it flat so that the logo's showing.
Yep.
But that way you can still stack them and you don't end up with this mushed mess when you get it. Would a nice, beautiful bow be better? Yes, but it might not look better
The presentation.
down the road. Yeah. Yeah, it's those little thoughts and attention to details that don't add a lot. They really
Yeah,
don't add a lot. If we're touching the box and we're assembling all the items, putting ribbon around it is not a big addition, but think about what a box with a ribbon around it looks like on a table versus a box. I mean, it's just like one more level to elevate it. And kind of like your decorative boxes, there's so many different options that look so different. Like the one you just showed with the lid, the slider. You have a riveted one that I just love. It's got rivets that hold it together. It's so cool because it's got this like mixed medium. Like I've always loved the rivet boxes just because I think they feel kind of high end. But the point really is mm, the sky's the limit.
exactly.
Anything is possible, right?
And one thing I
Absolutely.
was gonna mention is even for like that box, when you're putting it in just a plain brown shipper box, you can even elevate that. You may not be doing a branded box where it's mailing, but you can also do branded tape. So you could add the tape, have that same beautiful green look. So it really still continues the presentation from the outside of the box, but it's not a completely custom box as another alternative.
I love that. And we've
Me too.
we've actually done boxes where we had something on the outside that said, "Do not open until X
Yeah.
date." Like that could be a use for that tape too. I'm glad you brought that up because I often forget about that as like a way to make it feel more intentional, make it more obvious who it's coming from. Cause that's always a challenge. Like when you get something, in the mail, who did it ship from? Do you recognize the address? Is the company name on there? Like, why are you getting it? So
Yeah,
the tape really does like take it to the next level. I mean, but like let's talk about Amazon and what a great job they've done. Like you can
exactly.
spot an Amazon box a mile away.
Hmm.
And part of it is their branding on the outside, but also that tape. I have a love-hate relationship with that tape, but they've done a good job.
They have done a great job. The other thing to consider for everyone watching this is that a belly band serves a great purpose for bringing up one level of recognition to the client. They're easy to do in today's world with flatbed printers and all of that. You can even do a shipper box and just do a belly band. It will be a little tattered when it gets there, but it's like the tape. It'll get there
Yeah.
and you'll go, oh, okay, now I know who it's from. So keep
Yeah.
that.
I'm so glad you brought that up. We love doing belly bands on things as simple as notebooks, as you are well aware that that's such a popular item, but
Yeah.
it kind of got brought into the forefront of our minds when retail brands, that's how you could see, again, Moleskine, you could see them a mile away. You could tell that that was a name brand journal because of their belly band. Well, you can do that on anything, but make it customized. So and Tiffany, you talked about this a little bit too with being able to be specialized for an event. Maybe you're doing a generically branded notebook or coffee mug or whatever it is, a box, because you don't know how many you'll need and you want to make sure that it's not going to just be obsolete after the event. And then you make the belly band. Thanks for attending XYZ event. Scan this QR code to learn more about blah, 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 whatever it is.
Yeah.
That just, again, takes your branded merch instead of just adult trick or treating. It's like you're giving them some more information, almost like a brochure,
Yes.
but on the outside of a product, a
Yep.
little extra packaging. I mean, I do love it on notebooks without a question. And so it's just such an obvious, perfect thing, but it can be done on a lot of items.
Oh,
Hmm.
Um,
absolutely. Yeah.
and I thank you for bringing that up because that is such a good idea and it works well on some of your beautiful display boxes. It's a great way to put a little more information there that you might not want to have inside the box, or because of branding guidelines, you don't want it to be permanent, right? Because we all know that brands go through rebranding. Well, sometimes if they're on the cusp of rebranding, but they've got an event they've got to do, they need something that's not going to last as long. I mean, we know promotional products, they have a long life. That's why they are such a great way to market is they stay around for a very long time. So sometimes to the downfall is if you go through a rebrand, then you've got stuff out there that is
Yep.
maybe not as current. So this is a way you could kind of have a nod to that or announce something new. We've done little messages from leadership with their signature on it as a way to that's kind of the note for the item when you have just an item that maybe doesn't have the ability to have a note because it's not a full package. These are great. I also would be remiss if I did not talk about, because we are going into the holidays, custom wrapping paper. Tiffany's company offers some gorgeous custom wrapping paper. I am not a big gift wrapper. Since I got in this industry, my family stopped getting gift wrapped gifts. They're all in bags or gift cards because I wrap too many gifts for my customers now to wrap them for my family. But talk about elevating a gift wrapping it in custom
Yes.
wrapping paper. I even think if you don't want to wrap the whole gift, maybe you have pieces within a box. Maybe it's got shreds in there. Maybe it's like a tray. Peg does boxes where they've got trays, so each item is very specifically placed. We have lots of boxes we do that are like that. Then you don't have to worry about things moving around. You can print on the tray.
Can I show
But
you that really quick, Stacy, before I forget?
yes, please.
Just want to show this because this is another example of a very affordable box, and this was filled with milk. So when you talk about the
Oh
uh
my.
gorilla testing, yeah, we did a lot of that, and hence which is why this came out the way it did. But wouldn't that be fun to wrap the two gifts that are inside? I love wrapping paper. I just wanted to
Yep.
show you this because you can do this kind of a box and just ship it right to your customer.
Yep.
And
And then
so
place
it,
the
I
item
love,
wrapped in there.
yes. I mean, how cool would that be to do a couple of the items are visible, but a couple of them are gift wrapped
Yep.
with
Just
messaging.
expands the anticipation of what's inside, you know?
no, wouldn't that be great?
Yeah. I'll show you. This is our craft wrapping paper. So we offer it by the roll in white or craft, and it is imprintable. It is not completely full bleed. There is very small edges that don't imprint. But again, if you're doing a really beautiful design like this, it's not noticeable.
You have to tape somewhere.
That's on
Right.
the bottom, that's folded in. It's going to be unnoticeable. But the great thing is you can do wider craft. You can do, again, low quantities, which is key depending on, again, is this just a Q4 project or is this a whole year project? So you have the flexibility. Is it a low run or is it a large run? The other really exciting thing is we just expanded our paper options. So now you can actually also buy it by the sheet, and it is a full bleed option. There's a couple different paper weights that you could choose from. So if you have bulkier items that might have more pointier edges, we have a larger paper weight, and then it's a 500 sheet minimum. So we try and really give you a variety of the options. And the reason being is it's a huge product. So it's really what we've learned over the last year. It's not just a holiday item. Wrapping paper truly is something that is bought year round. Higher education, bookstores, there's a variety of uses of wrapping paper. So it doesn't have to just be a Q4 thing. It really is something special that's ordered throughout the year.
Yeah,
That's
anniversary gifts,
Yeah,
congratulations gifts, new hires.
new.
Like think
Yeah,
about,
exactly.
absolutely. That's awesome. I
yeah,
love wrapping paper.
I
Yeah,
love the wrapping paper.
yeah,
My warehouse team, if they watch this, will shoot me. But we can wrap it because we
yeah,
also know that logistically it's harder
yep.
to do with smaller marketing teams or HR teams. But we have an amazing warehouse and we can totally do it. And, you know, it does make a big difference. And especially when we wrap apparel, which, is a whole nother beast, we have to then label who it goes to on the outside of the box. So then we'll label them so that they're easy to distribute after it gets gift wrapped, which, might not seem like much, but it is much better than just writing large on the outside and then figuring out who it is that's large. Or then you go through all this effort and then you know, then you don't
The
have
great
the
thing about
final.
the custom wrapping paper is you can build the to and from or the size text into the design. So then it's wrapped, it's printed, it's part of the box. Then you're just filling it in. So again, it's a standardized design, but then you just add a little bit of that special touch.
I love that. And
Nice.
be thinking, what you could do because you don't have to do as much. What if you designed 5 different wrapping paper designs and each one was a different size, but no one knew that. So it's like,
Hmm.
oh, the blue with the white logo is the smalls and the, whatever.
Yeah.
Then it would be very on theme, on brand at the event or, distributing them. But it also is kind of fun when you look under a tree that they're not all exactly the same, but
Yeah.
they feel cohesive.
I love wrapping with the theme. We've even
Yes,
seen people getting really unique and adding specifically for holidays, like holiday ornaments and having QR codes on the inside of them. So again, it's a digital brochure. So it really is going to be accessible to anybody looking at the gift.
I love it.
Me
This
too.
is
That's great.
Yeah, this is so great. Do you guys have any additional thoughts? Anything you want to showcase that we haven't talked about?
For us, turn times are pretty quick. For our shipper boxes, it's anywhere, depending on our production schedule, 5 to 7 or 7 to 10 days for our shipper boxes, and 7 to 10 for our showcase. And our tissue is 5 to 7. So minimum of 100 quantity. What's your minimum, Tiffany?
So minimum is 500 sheets.
Okay.
For the tissue.
And for the tissue, yep, and we do have a variety of sizes. So we've added additional sizes, a smaller size and a longer size. So depending on what you're wrapping, we have some flexibility for you as well.
Great. It's good to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the key here is that whatever it is that you're trying to do, whatever your budget is, we can help elevate the items that you're giving to make them feel much more like a gift and less like an advertisement. We know they're an advertisement, but we can, as a team of people at Ideation, we can help you figure out even the most minuscule difference that will
Yes.
elevate that branded merch. So we're here to take the ordinary and make it extraordinary for your recipient. Thank you so much, Tiffany and Peg. I love all of your expertise and examples. I appreciate you joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for having us too.